Yo! Hey everybody, welcome along to a Tuesday night Ask Me Anything session. Um, ask me anything. Yeah, as always, if you've got questions, feel free. If you've got questions during the week, obviously there's a bunch of stuff that comes through in comments on the channel, but also feel free. There's a link just below any of these videos to my website where you can just drop in a note, say hi, connect, ask me anything at all that you feel might be useful. And I just want to start tonight's live session by saying as well, I don't know everything. Oh my gosh, no, I really don't. I'm fortunate to have been a full-time musician for where are we? 10, 11, 12 years, something like that. Touring, doing my own thing, doing the original thing, and doing a bunch of weddings and covers and markets and events and mall openings and all sorts of different stuff too. So it really is. I was chatting to a friend today and saying, sometimes I wonder, like, why do I jump on for these sessions? But it really is just making my time available, that if you do have questions, there's someone whose brains you can pick. We can have a chat, and usually if it's something that's on your mind, chances are it's something that will be on other people's radars as well. So if you're online, feel free to drop questions in. Tonight's really just there's nothing planned. I'm here, we'll hang out. If some people jump on, awesome, we'll have a chat, we'll have a yarn. If not, then absolutely no worries at all. But feel free to say hi and just connect in. Every Tuesday I will be here. Whether it's like last week where we I had a kind of specific thing to walk through just on how I build loops, or whether we end up just hanging out and having a chat. George, hey brother, how are you? What's up? Yeah, pretty chilled session tonight, man. I'm good. How are you doing? David, hey brother, thanks for your note. I finally showed up on the correct day. What is the time for you? Whereabouts in the world are you, David, by the way? George, from memory, you're in Utah, I think. Yeah, but let me know. As I say, every week I'll be here hanging out. So if you've got questions, then great. If you don't, then no worries. You'll just have me chatting in the background instead. So yeah, it's yeah. I think, what do I want to share if there's no questions tonight? That's the interesting one. Actually, you know what's interesting is I've seen it pop up a few times. Just for those, because I know there's a bunch of you on the channel that, so a bunch of you that follow me are full-time musicians. A bunch of you noodle when you can, when it works, and a bunch of you are doing some live shows. You kind of maybe juggling a full-time job as well as music, as well as doing some shows and things like that. And I mean, my story of doing music full time, some of you know, I literally just quit everything else, went out busking, freaked out, was nervous, wondering what I was doing, but it just felt like the right move. 12:04 a.m. in Utah. You definitely don't have to do that at all, but yeah, but one of the things is, I mean, I find it, if you're thinking of making the move to doing music full time, there's a point where you just have to take that step. It's a little I think of it a little bit like here we go with the analogies, but I think of it a little bit like jumping off a diving board. It's very tricky to pursue music or pursue a full-time career and be like, this is what I'm gonna do, if you're kind of like jumping off while still trying to hang on to the safety of the diving board, it should be a little bit freaky. And it might be a little bit freaky for some of you, it might be a lot freaky, but the only way to jump in the pool is to let go and jump. So there's my nice analogy for you to start the show. 12:04 a.m. Nice. This is late night. This is Monday late night Monday over in the States. David, I'm in Tucson. I was gonna pronounce it wrong. Tucson, Arizona, USA. It's 11:07 p.m. I'm curious, George and David, what's been happening? Are you working on specific things? I don't actually know. Are you guys full time? Are you doing some shows? What's happening? Let me know. Tony, howdy, saw you alive and just wanted to say hi. Hello, how are you doing? Love your work and you've taught me a lot of tricks, but I'm in Europe, need to go to work now. Have a great day, man. Thanks for dropping in. Thanks for the message, Tony. Appreciate it. Love it. Yeah, it's funny. It's been it's a real pleasure for me to create content on the channel that literally then I get a comment like that where someone's like, cool, I learned some tricks or some ideas that they can use. It literally brings me a lot of joy to have that happening. So appreciate that. Yeah, it's funny how I don't know, some of these things intrigue me very much in terms of like me doing music full time and quitting everything. I was chatting with another friend recently, saying how sometimes life situations that seem pretty bad or rough or trying can be a precursor to taking the next step or some really rewarding results. And it's easy to get stuck in frustration sometimes, but sometimes it leads on to the next thing, taking the next step. So George, I play in my room using Ultimate Guitar as a guide. Nice. That's literally, I feel like that's so many of us. Like, even when I'm learning stuff and that sort of thing, I tend to now listen and work out and use my ears a lot more than I did. I started out doing the same thing, learning everything from Ultimate Guitar just at home in my room. That was what's happening. And yeah, my first gig was at a Starbucks store, and I loved Dave Matthews, I loved John Mayer, and I played a lot of New Zealand music, Crowded House and Dave Dobbin. And so my first gig was a 2-hour show as a duo with another guitarist and singer. And I'm sure that's like 90% of the artists that we played. So it's funny, and I will often go to things now. I will look stuff up. It's such a great tool and resource. It doesn't replace, I don't think, listening and cultivating your ear, which is something I didn't do very well. I realized I studied classical guitar at uni, and I realized that I think it was 5. I'm trying to think who they might be, but I realized that like my top 5 artists that I liked all learnt by ear, which at the time was Dave Matthews, Tommy Emmanuel, John Mayer. I'm trying to think who the other 2 might be. And I'd learned everything from music, from books, from Ultimate Guitar, from stuff written out. And I realized my ear was not very good. And I started slowly, which is super frustrating when you know you can go and look up something online and just get great, it's these chords. There might be the challenge of playing stuff, but there's not the frustration of just having something on loop and being like, what is that note? What is that chord? Or what is the voicing? I know the chord, but something doesn't sound right. So Yeah, I had to slowly. I did it slowly in this instance. Train myself to just listen, 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 go back, rather than just going. I'm just gonna search what is it? Ah, okay, it's B7. I missed it. So, Tony, Dancing in the Dark. Love playing it now. Awesome, brother. That's cool. Super stoked. Um, I actually need to. I need to go and look at it again myself. I I rearranged it a little bit. That version that's on YouTube. I rearranged it a little bit for um, before doing that video, and then I haven't actually been playing it a whole lot. So time to go back and check it out again. David, I am working up a looping show for a 2 hour show. Awesome. That's very cool, man. Um, yeah, it's great to see a bunch of that stuff happening. And have you got a particular date or show coming up, or is it just so that you're available, ready to go? I'm curious. Curious. Yeah. Um, I, as usual, I have been doing too many different things. I spoke a little bit last week um, about some of that, filming for markets, doing some live stuff on Twitch, editing some videos again. Yeah, doing some video editing for some other people as an editor videographer. And today was the first time in a long time that I just stopped. I put on a bunch of different tunes that I'd been working on. Just enjoyed playing them, and not um, there was a focus, there was a fun and focus to go back through it. I've been doing a little timing exercise, which has been very interesting, noticing which things throw me and which things don't, which is stepping out a pattern of four, right foot, left foot, right foot, so that is happening underneath playing everything, meaning that you've got a guide 1, 2, 3, 4 of where in the bar you are, whilst playing whatever rhythms you're playing. And it's been interesting because a few things have thrown me more than I thought they would. Very much so, like putting the metronome on the offbeat, which there's a video with Andrew Rooney talking about that. And it was really interesting because when I first did it, definitely it very much threw me, very much a challenge, and it just brings me back to the joy of moving forward through all this stuff, is being willing to spend the time on the challenging stuff, as opposed to just being like, I'm gonna keep playing the things that are easy, because it takes a bit of brain power, right? When you're learning something new, it takes you're making new connections. Your brain's trying to figure it out. It's not easy. It's nice to go back and play the thing that you're already good at. That people are like, hey, cool. I really appreciate that. But there's something in it for me that it's like the challenge and the reward of learning something new that you struggled with, that then you're like, oh, cool, I can do that now. It's good. So, David, what's in your what's in the looping set at the moment? Any particular tunes you're working on, or that sort of thing? Curious for you as well, George. I last week you talked about Careless Whisper and how I break down stuff for looping. So actually, part of what I did today was sit on a cajon and just play the grooves on the cajon to a bunch of different tunes that I'm looping. Again, so just another thing that you could do it just tapping on a desk or that sort of thing, but it's another thing that helps me cement those grooves and things in my brain, and yeah, work on rhythm, work on all those bits and pieces. So that's what's been happening. But if there's any questions, feel free to fire them in the chat. Anything you want to pick my brains or chat about, feel free to write write in the chat, and then we'll get into it. I literally after this I'll be going back to doing some more rhythm stuff, to playing some tunes, and getting back into a few little tunes that that I was working on. They were a challenge for me. I put them to the side because they were a challenge, and it was taking a long time to get them to a level that I could perform them. And so what happens is I wasn't performing them, so they tend to fade away from the mix. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to notice that that literally very much the same as most of us. I do that, where it's like, frustrating. It takes a while. It's easy to go back to what's easy. So yeah, if there's any questions, feel free to let me know. As I say, I don't have a specific plan for tonight. It really was just to jump on. If there's anything I can answer or you want to chat about, let me know. And if not, no worries. We will wrap things up, and I will disappear and do some practice. So, so yeah, feel free to put anything in the chat if there is something, and we shall see. Otherwise, we'll say it's been nice to connect and jump on. Thanks for tuning in at a late hour in the States. Yeah, appreciate you jumping on. So that might be us. It might be a short one tonight. If you've just jumped on and you've got a question, let me know. We will get into it. And if not, we'll wrap up. Nice to say hi as well, George. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Happy practicing and playing. Yeah, I like that you reminded me of just so much enjoyment I have doing exactly the same thing, is looking up stuff on Ultimate Guitar and playing and jamming out. Stand By Me, Brown Eyes Girl, Brown Eyed Girl are a couple. Nice, awesome, man. Yeah, Stand By Me is probably a easier loop than Brown Eyed Girl with some of the changes, but that's the fun of doing what we do with looping, eh? No worries at all, David. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you made it, and nice to say hi. Say hi, watching. Just the two of you. Love it. All good, team. We're gonna wrap up for tonight. I'll be on every week. Obviously, sometimes it'll be a bit more focused, sometimes be a bit more relaxed, but appreciate you dropping in and saying hi. And yeah, we'll happy practicing, happy playing. We'll see you on the channel next week or in some of the videos coming out. Cheers, everybody.